Hello, my name is Dalbeck, and this is the second episode of Fear of Extinction talk, which is climate crisis brainstorming. Um, in this episode, I would like to build some kind of uh, common understanding right now, which we have on the climate crisis, just from the simple block. So it's kind of simple that we humans we are doing some actions that affect Earth, and these actions now become harder and harder to reverse. And these consequences of these actions affect our life quality, and we are afraid of that this life qualities will be very difficult for us. So we are predicting things like weather anomalies, famine, migrations, wars, um, and yeah, it looks like we have a lot of work to worry about. Uh, so we have this chain of consequences here, and we still have the feeling that we can do something. So, but we are not sure what we can do, what is the right thing to do. But this is kind of important also that we have this feeling that we can do something, that we can be in control of this situation. This is also another aspect of the situation in which we are in right now. So, and there are now people who can divide it to two camps. What to do with this situation, and the first group decided that okay, the best thing is to do, we need to uh, uh, make it more known that the climate crisis is happening, and it's of course understandable because climate crisis has been ignored for many years, and um, there's the idea that people are not treating it seriously enough. So what we should do, first of all, we should uh, educate these people or somehow help them to understand and know that the climate crisis is happening and what consequences it can bring. So they want to start some kind of uh, a rise of activation. I call this group that there are like people who start some kind of panic in some way. Uh, it's it's the approach which is visible in the movie Don't Look Up, where the idea is that yeah, what should be done, it should be just make it more emotional about the situation, and when people kind of face this fear, they will do the right thing. Uh, the second approach, yes, this is I call it the people who build a bunker, because there are people. Maybe it's not the right naming for it, but there are people who said, okay, we can't stop it. So other people are so focused on other things, and they want to get what they want, and they don't want to sacrifice anything. So the climate crisis will happen, and we don't have tools to stop it. So the best thing we can do, we can just get ready for it, and just to prepare, the best resources we can. Of course, it's not also self-centered, like building a bunker and watching the situation from a safe distance. But generally, I also feel it's maybe a little more realistic approach than the previous one, because these people are ready to accept some losses, some reality, which is one that we know that for people it's really hard to give up something, and maybe hoping that people will be giving up something immediately. Well, it's not very realistic. Anyway, both approaches are run by fear, and actually, this fear is something dominant that I see in all the discussions. That's why I decided to focus on the fear itself. In the first approach, fear becomes even something valuable, something that if people thought more fear, they would act. So the problem is that people don't feel enough fear. So that's why I would maybe not that very elegant way I call this, starting a panic. But yeah, it's also some goal in it to show that um, that, maybe we are trying to use these emotions, uh, maybe not in the most constructive way. And that's what I want to do. I want to investigate more the fear itself, what it causes, and what consequences it has this fear. Because my feeling is that there's a kind of hidden assumption of this fear is something natural, this is adequate fear, and not much thinking going on here. And maybe I would like to propose the third approach. Is called more trusting. Mm, but it will become more clear during this talk because first we need to build some tools, language to talk about things. Something also that is not visible when talking about the climate crisis is the political context. Of course, people are involved in politics and mention about politics very often, but there's a kind of assumption that this climate crisis is the most important thing, the most important problem that the world is dealing with. And uh, we kind of maybe don't see that the political crisis can be more significant for our quality life and what will happen with the world than the climate crisis itself. So we have kind of rising new powers. There is no more tensions. The world wants to rebalance again, and we haven't had the world war for a long time. So we don't remember all these horrors. The people, the generation, if you remember, war is dying out. So maybe we can expect new horrible things happening. I don't know. It's all speculation right now. However, the present moment right now is that we kind of are afraid about political stability right now, about the condition of world, and we also need to have it on our radar. So it's not that there's only climate crisis. There are kind of many things going on, and they're connected in many ways. So I will try to say more about it in the next part, next episode, when I will be talking about root causes of the situation. Anyway, if you want to know what we should do with this situation, it's the best to understand actually the causes of the situation uh, and have better insight into them, because otherwise we may try to deal with symptoms or make actions which actually will contribute to the situation not in the best way. So it's important to understand mechanisms that are building this situation. So I would like to offer my thinking about it in the next episode.